Hi, I'm Pam Cullen from 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card using the Welcoming Woods stamp set. Each month our Ingenuity Inkers team has a swap for anybody who wants to participate, and this month's theme was to create a fall card. So this is the card that I created for our swap, for our team swap this month, and I just love this set, and I love trees, and I don't know if it's because I'm from Maine and we're surrounded by trees, but I'm just so intrigued by all of the pine trees, all the tree stamp sets that we have in the new annual catalog, as well as the mini catalog. So I spotted this one right off quick and ordered it, and I haven't had a chance to really play with it. So I'm going to show you how to do this card today, and we're going to do a technique that's not new. It's been around for a long time. It's the baby wipe technique, but I really like it, and it's a great way to get lots of different colors on your piece at one time. So, and we're also going to be doing some blending, and if you've watched my previous videos, you saw that I hadn't had an opportunity to get the new Stampin' Up! Blending brushes, but I have great news. I have them now, and I'm very excited about that. So we're going to be, and you can just see the difference in these from the ones that I was using before. So these are just lovely. So we're going to be using those to blend the card. And like I said, we're going to be using that baby wipe technique for the leaves on this card. So let me show you the other products that we're going to be using. Like I mentioned, we are using the Welcoming Woods stamp set, which is a really nice set, and it's seasonal because it gives you the leaves, it gives you the snowflakes. You have a lot of great sentiments on this. So it's another one of those really great, versatile stamp sets that you can use for many different seasons and many different occasions. So we're going to be using this, the big tree stamp, the leaves, the Every Season Brings Its Own Wonder stamp, and the Good Luck on Your New Adventure for the inside of our card. And we're also going to be using this piece, which puts a little piece of, this goes between the trees and gives you some ground effect. So it gives you a little bit of depth on your card. So that's what we're going to be using there. We're also going to be using the Bark 3D embossing folder, and this is a really great new folder. Came with the beautiful Friendship Suite, and I've used it for several different cards. It's a really great one to have in your stash. Then for the sentiment, we're going to be using these stitched rectangles here, and we're going to be using this piece right here for our sentiment piece right there. So, and again, the blending brushes and the baby wipes. So those will be the things that we'll be using for this set. So now let me show you what we're going to be using for pieces. I've got a piece of gray granite cardstock that's cut 8.5 by, no, I'm sorry. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. And we're going to just put a nice crease on that with our bone folder. And then we have our piece of cherry cobbler that's 5 1/4 by 4. And like I said, I've already embossed that with the Bark embossing folder. So that will be our layering piece. And then this is going to be our piece, our basic white piece. And this is 4.5 by 3 1/4, because I made it a little bit smaller for that front piece because I wanted you to be able to see that embossed bark on the back there. Then we have a piece of basic white that's 5 1/4 by 4 that will be for our inside. And then the little piece of scrap that I've already cut with that stitched rectangle for our sentiment piece. And then I'm going to put some of those, I brought in one of our envelopes because I'm going to put some of these little leaves on the bottom of this envelope when we get done. So it'll just finish that card off nicely. So let's get started with the blending first. so I can show you. We're going to be using several different colors first for the blending and then for the baby wipe technique. So don't worry, I'll have all of the dimensions and the products that I used in the description below the video, and I'll also have them over on my blog. So don't worry about writing all that down now. You can find it if you want to recreate this card. So the first color that we're going to put on here, we're going to start with our darkest first, and we're going to use Misty Moonlight, which again, this is one of my favorite blue colors. And I'm just going to bring in a little piece of scrap paper here because you're going to want to take some of that ink off, and so you can go light on this. Let's just go right on this paper here. So you're going to want to go just in a swirling motion on this card. And then we're going to just go a little bit darker here. See, it's easier to go lighter to darker, because if you go too dark, then you can't get it off. So, alrighty, so that's our first color, and then we're going to use some Pool Party, and I'm not going to change blending brushes. I'm just using, this has blue on it already, and as you can see, it doesn't come off there. So the next color we're going to do is that Pool Party, and we're just going to take a little of that off. And it's just going to give us a little bit of contrast to that, to that Misty Moonlight. Blends right in there nicely. There we go. And then we're going to use some Calypso Coral. This one we need to be really careful of because this is a really dark color. And so you want to take most of that off because you don't want to have, you're trying to get like a shadowing color of like a sunset sky or sunrise sky, and you don't want that to be really bright. So there we go. There, I think I'm going to leave that. I think that looks good. And the last color we're going to use is soft suede on the bottom, just to give us a little bit of color there for the ground. And again, this one's a pretty dark color, so I'm going to take most of that off and then just lightly put that on there. There we go. And then I think I'm just going to go back briefly with the blue and just kind of blend that in a little bit more. Here we go. I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. So here we go. And this looks a little bit funny right now, but once we get our tree stamped on there, that's really going to blend in there really nicely. So let's put that off to the side for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and close these ink pads up quick here. So the color I chose for the trees is not your typical tree color, but I think for birch trees, which I'm pretty sure this is, they do have kind of a lighter color. So I really like the effect that this had with the gray granite color on there. So we're going to use this is one big stamp. And again, because these are all photopolymer stamps, we're going to, excuse this, I should have put a new paper on there. But, so we're going to go ahead and stamp this. And if you see on this card, when I got done, I wasn't really happy with the fact that the trees didn't go all the way to the top of this. It looked disconnected a little bit. So on this card, we're going to go ahead and stamp that differently, and we're going to make it go all the way to the top of that page. So one of the things with this is that it's a really big stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ink pad right to the stamp to be sure that we get some good coverage. And one of the things that's really nice also about this, and you can't see it on the stamp, but you can see it on the card, is that it's a distinctive. So you can see all of those really nice lines and features in the trees once you stamp it, and you're using one ink. So this is a really nice stamp. So I'm going to turn this sideways just so I can try to get it centered and make sure we're at the top of that page. And then you want to hold that and press it down pretty well, because you've got, if you were just stamping on white paper, it would be fine, but where we've put some blending on there, I just want to make sure we get a good impression. And there we go. That looks good. So then we're going to take that piece for the ground, and you want the flat side on the top and this curved piece to go along the bottom. And you're actually going to put, I don't know if you can see on the camera or not, but there's some dots in here, and you're going to line those dots up actually on the trees, those 3 trees there, the 3 largest trees. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit, and you can see when you're stamping it that there's a place to put this that fits in between all those other trees. There we go. See how that gives you, that nice kind of, it's not a horizon, but you get what I mean. It just gives you some depth on this page. So that's that piece done. So let me close this up, and then let me show you how we're going to get that ready we're going to get ready to do the baby wipe technique. And it is what it means. You just take a regular baby wipe, and I just folded it, and we're using just a clear block. You can use a stamp case, you can use whatever you want to use for that, but we're going to just go ahead and use this clear block. And then I have the re-inkers in cherry cobbler, pumpkin pie, and crushed curry. And so I'm going to start with the crushed curry, because that's the color that we want the most of on here. So you just keep putting drops on there, and then you take the other colors. I'm going to go with the cherry cobbler next, and we're just going to put those drops in around here. And here in Maine, it won't be long now. We're at the end of August, and it won't be long now before we'll be getting some really, really pretty fall colors in our trees. And we do have these colors, the reds and the oranges and the yellows. So yes, we are very fortunate here that nature puts on a great show. All right, so now we're just going to take that, and we're going to take our other piece, bring this back in, and I'm just going to put a test on here, and we're going to see what we got for color there. See that? Now we've got a lot of, we've got the red and the burnt orange. There, I think that looks nice. So we'll go ahead and use that. So then we're just going to randomly stamp these leaves all over our piece. There's really no rhyme or reason to put a few on the ground here. There, I think that looks good. Maybe we'll put one more over here. There we go. Okay, so while we have that going, we'll set this aside for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and take our envelope flap, and I'm just going to tuck this piece on here. And we're going to go ahead and just put some of those leaves going along here. Just gives your card nice little, there we go. So that way our envelope just has a little bit of decoration on it too. And you could do it on the front of your card if you want to as well. That's up to you. So now we have just stamping. We're going to let that sit and dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and do our stamping. And this will last, if you put this in one of your stamp cases or something, this will last for a while before the baby wipe dries out, and you can make multiple cards with this. So if you were mass producing cards or something, you know, this would last. And if you feel like you've got more red than you want, you could add some more yellow to that. You can keep, you know, it's really flexible. You can keep on changing the colors to whatever you want or adding to it, but it's a really fun technique. And I just love that you get, it gives you an opportunity to get multiple colors in one stamp. And, you know, you can do the same thing with your blending pens or that kind of thing, but it's just a different technique. Okay, so we have these two pieces to stamp. So we're going to go ahead and use our gray granite ink again. And for the front sentiment piece, I stamped it with Every Season Brings Its Own Wonder. And I really, really like the font on this stamp set. So we're going to stamp that right in the center. There we go. And then on the inside of our card, we're going to go ahead and put Good Luck on Your New Adventure. And we're going to center that and put it up at the top a little bit so that you have room to write. All right, there we go. So I think that that's all the stamping we need to do. So now we can go ahead and put this card together. Let's move this out of the way. Bring in our pieces. So we're going to go ahead and glue our embossed piece with that bark embossing folder to our gray granite card base. And you want to use quite a bit of glue when you have a lot of embossed area like that, just to make sure that it adheres really well to the front of your card. Let's just give that liquid glue a minute to adhere. Go. And then we're going to go ahead and put our stamp tree on there. Center that, and so again we can see that nice embossed piece there. Go. Then I'm just going to pop this sentiment piece up on some dimensionals. I'm gonna put that right down here. I'm lining it up with that, with our piece there. Hopefully getting it even. Here we go. All right, and then we're gonna put our inside piece on. And I decided when I did them, this was when I did my sample piece, I decided after I got this done that I wanted to put a little bit of a bow on the front. So I'm going to use, I'll show you, we're going to use some of that, the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. And we're going to just tie a small bow on the front, right by that sentiment piece. This again here, and see if we can get it straight. Three times, there we go. All right, there we go. There's our sentiment piece for the inside. And the last thing is, so yes, this is a really nice, this is the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, and you get 5 colors of the Baker's Twine in one pack. And I've been using all of them, and I think it's really great. So we're just going to use this gray, and I'm going to take just a little piece. What we're going to do is we're going to make a double bow out of this. So we're just going to line up the ends. And I have to warn you, I'm not always good at tying bows on camera. So if we can't get it, I will put the bow on afterwards and you'll get the idea. But I intended to have one tied already so you wouldn't have to watch me muddle through this, but I think, all right, let's try again here. Kind of, I don't want it to be real big, so I'm gonna get my, there we go. And then we'll just take a glue dot, and once we glue this down we can adjust it a little bit more. So we're just going to take one of our mini glue dots and put that right in the center. Kind of scrunch that up a little bit so the glue dot's hidden underneath your knot here. And then we're going to put it right here on the side. Adjust that bow a little. Trim our tails. All right, that's not my best bow work, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, so there's our card. And like I said, I like this set a lot. It gives you, and here's our envelope. So go ahead and do that. There's my sample card. There's my other card. So let me know in the comments what you think of this card and the stamp set. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. And I would love to have you join my team. Right now we have a great join offer going on. You get $125 worth of product for $99, plus you get your choice of several bundles, which is about a $50 offer. And so it's a really, really great time to join. Plus it's celebration time, so you'll get free products through the celebration. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I would love to talk with you about that. And if you're placing an order this month, the host code is this code right here. And you can also find that on my blog, which is 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates. And I just thank you for stopping by my channel today. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would do that. You can hit the subscribe button right below this video. So thanks again for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. Take care.